Krampus horns! Ah! Okay, so this is making horns and a tongue. If you have just seen the first 5 seconds of this and slapped yourself on the forehead saying, why didn't I think of that? Well, I had that moment a while ago, and then I finally thought of it. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm using hot glue on the edge of one cup to glue all of them together. And I am making sure that I give them a bit of an arc. What's nice about the cups is they're going to give ridges. When you have several cups together like that, they're actually fairly strong. You can, of course, strengthen it afterwards, but the key is in how you skin it. You can skin it for strength too, or you can skin it for looks. Have an even number of cups, of course, and keep looking at one horn to another to make sure they have the same curve to them. You're going to see me construct one set of horns here, and when I go to skin, I'm going to actually skin a second set of horns. I'm going back, and now I'm putting glue down on the other side of the cups where the big opening is, and I'm letting that liquid glue go down into that seam. Here I have some 1/8 inch couch foam. It's 1/8 of an inch thick. It's not very thick at all. And Super 77 spray adhesive. That is one of the tricks. Spray it on both pieces, of course. And you see I'm just laying it on and I'm tucking it in. And I'm tucking it all down to one area in the back where they meet up. I've got myself a nice sharp Persona blade. That is what I'm doing my trimming with. It's always tough to trim through spray adhesive. And just a little bit of scissor work there. But you can see how close I can get with that Persona blade. And you can barely see that line where those two bits of foam meet. I did end up crushing the tip, and there's spray adhesive in there. You might want to stuff your tip with cotton. Normally I don't, but you can, and that'll keep that from happening. I think the big deal is getting the curve and those ridges in. I mean, that's a good-looking horn. So I'm going to do the other one. Same exact way. Of course, I have some work to do during the workday, so using the radio. Spray adhesive right there, putting the two together once I give it a second to rest. Let it get tacky, and I'm fitting that together. It is going all the way in the back. That's where I want the seam to be. If the seam is up front, it's a lot more noticeable, but if it's on the inside of a curve, it's less noticeable. And now I'm able to use that Persona blade and trim it down. These are some real simple horns. And when they're done, you can actually use a soldering iron and poke holes right above the rim. And I am wiring them into the mask. I'm putting a little mark on the mask, and then I'm running floral wire up through the cup, and I'm wiring them on. So that's a nice strong bond. I'm not going to show that in this video because it's like sewing with wire. You guys can figure it out. So once your glue sets, I give that an hour, come back and you can spray paint the horns. That foam takes spray paint no problem. And now I'm going to dry brush. It's going to make those ridges show up really nice. And in a real dark environment, you don't want a horn that's super dark because they're just not going to see it. Now I'm going back and I'm highlighting each of those ridges, and I'm painting in fake ridges up there towards the end where there weren't any. I'm just painting those on. And because the ones down below are real ridges, it really sells that the ones up top are real ridges too, even though you're just painting lines on it. And Krampus horns. Stereo. Alright. So now let's do a tongue. This stuff is called backer rod. It's foam rope, basically. I use it for vines. I use it for all kinds of stuff. And you can see those ends are pointed. They don't come that way. I hit those on a belt sander, and I got them mostly pointed on a belt sander. It took 10 seconds. And now I'm taking just however long I want my tongue to be, using spray adhesive. I'm gluing two pieces together, and both of those pieces have those pointed tongues. Here's just some cheap floral wire. And this is probably the most boring part of this video. I have to thread that floral wire through the piece of backer rod. And it's tough to get it all the way through because it wants to poke out. Just twist your wire. That'll aim the wire a different direction and push it in a little bit further. That is kind of a pain in the butt. But I'll cut it off from one side and then I'll start on the other side. That way, instead of having to do that whole 14-inch section, I only have to do, 8 inches twice, from each side. and that way I'm going to have a fully posable forked tongue. I like to split the end a little bit so you can see it a little bit better, and now I can pose that tongue. Once again, I've got 2 wires sticking out of there, little dab of hot glue on the back of that, and then I can wire it into the mouth of the mask or into the roof of the mask. I'm giving it a good red spray paint. Look at that forked Krampus tongue. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it.